Welcome back to the What Are You Made Of podcast with your boy, Mike C-Roc. And actually, hold on one second, Russ. Let me pause this for a minute. Welcome back to the What Are You Made Of podcast with your boy, Mike C-Roc. What's up, Waymo crew? Hey, guys, listen. This What Are You Made Of movement is you're like yielding into something much bigger than I ever imagined it to be. We are absolutely starting some, the movement is alive and well, but there's some kind of weird thing happening here. The Waymo crew is something that I came up with as I was going into this What Are You Made Of movement and getting some feedback from people that wanted to engage further with me. So I put together some mentoring group, coaching group for business, salespeople. But not only that, we're not just going to talk about finance and business and sales. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about communication. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about culture. Much more encompassing thing than what you've seen before in other mentor programs. So I want you to get involved with the Waymo crew. You can, hit me up, DM me on Instagram, and just ask me any questions you want if you want to be involved with that. The program is affordable, but it also, the content that you'll get out of it and the connections that you'll make will be worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to you if you act upon it. So I just want to share that first. And also thank you to our sponsor, Nations Lending. Home Loans Made Human, doing home loans throughout 50 states of the United States. And if you know anyone that's looking to buy or refinance, get up with your boy C-Roc. I'll be happy to help you out. I got a great team behind me. We keep the human element in the mortgage process, hence our slogan, Home Loans Made Human. Despite the technological advances that we have available to us, we stay in touch with you person to person to keep the human element in the process. So thank you to Nations Lending. Today's show, guys, is a good buddy of mine. I met through the 10X movement and 10X stages course. We hit it off. We had a little cocktail party before our course, and we hit it off. And there was actually, we'll get into this more, but there was actually a contest between some 10X stage members. And this happens to be the winner from the 2019 class. And, I'm looking forward to talking to my man, Russ, on the What Are You Made Of podcast today. And I'm going to get into his bio, and then we're going to let him fire away. And you're going to be intrigued by this guy. He's got a lot of energy. He's motivating. But Russ Yeager grew up a chubby kid wearing the husky pants like I did too. Now, I'm only 5'6". Russ is probably 6 foot something. I'll let him speak to that in a second. But I did wear husky pants as a young kid. I think I was just muscular though as a young kid. Russ was constantly looking for answers to help him transform his body. Today, he's one of the top fitness coaches in the world, but it didn't come easily. It took 25 plus years of research, trial and error, and real life experiences for Russ to finally discover the secret formula to having the body, health, and energy we all want. And it all starts with mindset. Today, Russ specializes in helping male entrepreneurs and business owners around the world make more money, grow their business, and reignite passion in their relationships by first obtaining their ideal energy and physique. Russ owns 2 private personal training studios in Atlanta, Georgia, is the author of Live Longer, Feel Better, and Look Great Naked. And by the way, we're going to keep our clothes on during this interview, Russ, just so you know. And has written for and appeared in numerous fitness publications. Many of his clients describe him as the most positive and motivating person they've ever met, which is refreshing in a world full of too much negativity and cynicism. And that's why I like hanging around with Russ, because of the energy and the positivity and the motivation. And so, Russ, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Mike, what's up, brother? Thanks for giving me a few minutes to put my clothes back on. I wasn't sure.
Hey, so listen, I believe everybody's got a story, Russ. So what are you made of, man?
Yeah, definitely. First, I just want to quickly thank you for having me on, brother. I mean, you're saying you love hanging out with me, and, your energy. I know the Waymo movement is exploding, and, it's because of you, dude. Like, you're on a mission, you're taking massive action, and you're providing great value, and I'm super pumped to speak with you today. So, my story goes back, to when I was 11 years old. I was a happy kid, grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, had 2 great parents, had a great sister, had a great dog, and great friends. But, I'd go to the pool. I wasn't fat. I'm 6'6", to answer your question. So I am very tall. So I wasn't the fat kid, but I had this big pudge around my stomach, and I'd go to the pool, and all my buddies seemed to have the friggin', the flat stomach, the abs, and, I took my shirt off, and I had this big spread of fat. And it's interesting to hear you wore the husky pants. A lot of people, like you said, I spoke at 10X this weekend. So many people could relate to that, but which was cool. But, I remember specifically being 11, And my friend teased me, and I don't think they were trying to be mean, and I don't think it was bullying or anything, but it just kind of bothered me. And so 11 years old, my dad's taking home movies. He's got, one of the giant VHS cameras, for you guys that are old enough to remember that, takes up the whole room. And he says, Russ, say something to the camera. So I'm like, my name's Russ. I like soccer. I like basketball. I love my dog, Rudy. And then I remember, it's crazy how I can't remember some things I did yesterday, but I can see this right now. And, I looked down and paused and I said, and I'm fat. And my parents both look at each other and, awkward silence. And then my mom says, 7 words that, changed the direction of my life forever. Russ, you're not fat. You're just husky. She said that because going back to school shopping, I had to get, and you heard it, had to get the husky pants. You're not the fat pants, but husky, which almost sounds worse than fat.
I remember.
And so I remember, man, like I'm going to figure out, I saw Hulk Hogan was a hero of mine. I loved wrestling. And so, I saw these muscly guys and in the magazines, and I said, I'm going to figure that out. Started running, because that's all I knew to do. I guess it was good for me. My body didn't change at all. I loved to eat, had a huge appetite, still have a huge appetite, still love to eat, and if we get into it, that's one of the hardest parts for people. I could talk about what I've kind of finally figured out to overcome that. But I got introduced to lifting weights when I was, late high school, late teens. And I really liked it, made me strong, gave me muscles. I've learned now that, I teach my clients, like lifting weights is the best thing you can do in order to, transform your physique, obviously to get strong and, muscles and all that, but also for your health. And again, we can talk about that later if you want, but also in terms of burning body fat, permanently. And I had some pretty good success. I was getting pretty fit. Took a job as an accountant just because I went to Auburn University and a bunch of my friends were going into accounting. And I took the first class and, the teacher said, you either get it or you don't. And I could do it, man. I was good at it, debits and credits. And that's, they said, oh, you'll have a great job. That's how I picked my career. And I'm thankful for that time. But, I'm working a lot of hours, late night business dinners. I'm in my 20s, so I'm drinking. And I'm working out during the week. But the weekend, and I'm trying to eat pretty good. But the weekends I'm drinking, I'm partying, I'm, eating way too many calories. So, I'm like, I work out 5 days a week. I don't really look like it. And so at 27, I was like, you know what? I'm going to really do this. I'm going to stop messing around. And I entered one of those before and after contests, international physique transformation contests. I hired a personal trainer and a coach.
And you were 27 when you did that?
27, yep. Which I've learned now, man. I mean, and I know you're big into coaching. Like, dude, like if you want to get somewhere, you can figure it out on your own. But if you want to get there faster, find a coach, and more importantly, find somebody that has actually done what you want to do. And that's served me well for my whole life. But I did everything he said. And I was a guy named Skip LaCour. We're still great friends. And he was a top natural bodybuilder in the day. And he's 56, 57 now, still ridiculously ripped. And he said, he goes, Russ, you need to learn how to train like a bodybuilder. I said, no, man, I don't want to be a big freak in a bikini all oiled up. I just want to be lean, muscular, athletic. He said, I know, but you don't have the genetics for that. And most people, that's one of the biggest misconceptions, especially for a lot of ladies. I think they're going to get huge and bulky from lifting weights. No, it's hard to build muscle. Unless you have the right genetics, you're not going to be huge and or use a bunch of steroids, right? And so he said, but it's trust me, you're gonna love how you look. So long story short, I did everything he asked. Worked my ass off. 12 weeks. I was probably around 25% body fat, maybe a little more. Got down to under 5%. Got totally shredded. Won this contest. Got sponsored by a supplement company. Got to go to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic as a sponsored athlete. Started writing for the bodybuilding and fitness magazines, and it was just like when something lights you up, and you're like, man, this is it. Like right. I didn't know life could actually. And again, I had a good life. I was happy. Didn't hate my job, but it's like a whole nother level. Like, man, what if I could help other people do this? And I started getting more questions about working out and nutrition, and I knew it was time to probably do it. I was doing it on the side. I got certified as a trainer, working out some of my clients and people from the gym. Started doing online. This is 2002, Mike. I did online coaching because again, Skip was doing it. Which before that was like even a real thing, right?
Right.
And but I was scared to leave my full-time job. And then I remember, I was really considering it, and I was talking to my parents. And, my mom was like, oh, you got a good job. And, these fitness places come and go. And because I was thinking about opening a personal training studio. And moms are supposed to worry about you. And my dad, I remember he was saying, He's a real conservative. You know, he passed it, you know, 2007. So now it's been, 13 years. And he was real conservative, you know, worked for the phone company, Bell South for 39 years. And, you know, so I was wondering what he was going to say. And my dad was my hero. And he said, you know, I remember he was quiet for a long time. He was a quiet guy. And then he finally spoke and he said, you know, I remember when my dad, you know, he was talking about my granddad, you know, said, what are you going to do with your life? And my dad said, I don't know, but I'm going to be good at it. and my dad said, and I know you're going to be good at whatever you do. I know you'll be successful. You know, you should do it.
That's awesome, dude. That's reassuring right there.
Yeah.
That's the way parents should be.
Yeah. And it gave me the confidence, man, to go out and do it. And, you know, I started my first studio, you know, I have 2 studios now in Atlanta. I have 12 coaches that work for me. I have my online business. I was kind of, you know, messing around with the online stuff. I don't know, messing around, but, you know, just kind of doing it on the side. And then at GrowthCon 2, you know, I heard Grant be like, you know, think big, man. If you're, you know, it's your duty and obligation to reach more people. I was like, man, that lit a fire. So I created my I was like, well, I can only train so many people, you know, within my studios, right? They live in Atlanta, Georgia, and, you know, they've got to live there, and they've got to have the money for personal training. And so I basically modeled what, you know, he has with Cardone University and created Body Transformation University, which is, you know, online program specifically for men. I do work with ladies as well, but, you know, being a guy, like most of my clients in my studio are females, which is awesome. But, you know, being a guy, and we know ladies have pressure to look good and, you know, all this stuff, but, but they know, you know, we know they're insecure because they tell us as guys, especially nowadays, man, we just, you know, we're insecure. I talk to so many business owners are depressed, you know, depression, early 20s, late teens is the highest growing suicide rate, men. And so, you know, we just hold it inside and don't tell anybody. And then we blow our brains out and people.
Well, I disagree with you. I think that we do tell people, but we do it in different ways, right? So what we see is we see actions, emotions, reactions that don't have some voice saying I'm insecure, but it's a sign of it, right?
Yeah. Which that's a great point. What do you feel like? I think I know, but what do you think those actions are?
Well, it could be, you know, putting other people down. It could be hating on people. It could be the way you react to different things when someone says something, and it's just a sign of insecurity. It could be buying different things because you're insecure. It could be numerous things, but those are the kinds of things there's signs of it.
Yeah.
They shout it that they're insecure, but not verbally say I'm insecure, right?
Yeah. And it's that's a great point, but it's not obvious, you know, and it's somebody not as insightful as you does think, oh man, they're just quiet. They're just a man. So it's an interesting point, but yeah, man. So I love working with, you know, I do work with ladies, but, you know, working with guys through my coaching program online. And then, you know, but then the Body Transformation University I created as a standalone platform so that I can truly, my mission now, you know, Grant inspired me to, you know, to help 1 million men, you know, get their ideal physique, health, and energy so that they can become the best version of themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally, and fulfill what they were put on earth to do to the best of their ability. And, you know, I'm still learning and working, but it's fun, dude, and love, you know, helping people.
So let me ask you a question. We got what you're doing and accomplishing. You're not stopping learning, I heard. So let's talk about that. Like, what is your view on that? Like, as you reach different levels of success, like, how do you keep the drive to keep learning and being a sponge rather than letting your ego get in the way?
Yeah, man. It's like, dude, like there's, you know, a lot of, I guess, not really secrets, but success principles, you know, but that's one of the biggest. I mean, if you think you know it all, you're done. And I don't know if I'm lucky or why it happened, but, you know, I knew I didn't really know what I was meant to do. I was introduced late to personal development and all this kind of stuff. But I remember I don't tell this story a lot, but at 16 years old, I almost died in a car accident. I was following a buddy to the beach. You know, we used to go down every year and we're in the left lane and, you know, we used to drive way too fast. Luckily we were only going about, 75 or whatever. And I'm looking down to change my CD back in the day, which I shouldn't have been doing. But anyway, I see him get over like that fast, and there's a car right there coming at me, 75 miles an hour. And I had time to just jerk the wheel, and I had a little green Honda Civic hatchback, which is kind of funny. Dude, I don't know how, but I mean, I spun and I like bounced down the highway. I never flipped. I don't know how. It's like a miracle. And I didn't have a scratch on me. But it just made me, and my mom always says, like, you have like, a team of industrial, guardian angels. But,
wow.
I just felt like, and again, this is just my belief, like I was put here, by God for something special. And I want to, again, Ed Milet, you know how Ed Milet is. Like, I love how he says, like, he's constantly chasing the best version of self, where, he's at the end, and, his version of heaven is meeting the man that he was, he meets the man he had the potential to be, and he's that same person. So that's kind of how I look at it, dude.
And do you ingrain that into your clients as well, that same mindset? I
do. Yeah. And it's a good question. With my online, that's a huge part of it. I mean, once I get people, the X's and O's of, I start with the fitness. You heard me this past weekend, and I believe the number one most important thing you can do for your business is to put your health first. You are, as an entrepreneur, business owner, you are your biggest asset. You got to invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, not only so you can, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to be here probably as long, and you're definitely not going to reach your full potential. And it does take time. It does take work to transform your body and health. But the cool thing is, one workout can change your mind, change your confidence, change your energy, and you go in and get more done at work. People are magnetically attracted to you. You inspire. So that's a huge part of what we talk about. I have a platinum coaching group, with guys. I think it's 7-8 countries now, and so, which is kind of cool. We got different. UK is, for whatever reason, my biggest client base. So different backgrounds and different accents, different time zones. But we're talking about once I get the X's and O's of how to train, how to eat right. It's just freaking doing it. Like, it's not that complicated. There are some different strategies, but then we talk about the overcoming challenges. I have a platinum client that was in, depression, that was, financially, ruined. I mean, just bad stuff. And it was a stretch for him to invest to work with me, but he's like, I got to turn my life around. Got best shape of his life, like showing abs, at this point, muscles, turned his life around. His mom sent me a letter that's like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. It's like a 45, 50-year-old guy. He's actually 50. And anyway, he got hit with a major accident, like seriously, like almost died. And can't work out for, it's coming up on 3 months. And he started to disengage from the platinum calls we do every week because he can't work out. And man, I have the best people work for me. My assistant, Louis, reached out to him and said, hey man, why don't you just come on today? And he came on, and he goes, I'm coming back. This can't stop me, and I think that's having that team of people around you, man, because, some people, they get somebody quits at work and they got to take extra hours, or their kid gets sick. Like, that's enough to derail them. They're done. And that's the hardest part, man. You can figure out how to get in shape. X's and O's. It's not that hard. But when life punches you in the face, and sometimes it's a little punch, sometimes it's a friggin' Mack truck running over you, being able to continue to move forward. So that's why I surround myself with people like you, like, Grant Cardone, and, other people that are pushing and motivating.
So let me ask you a question. You have some clients probably that hit rock bottom, or they're in a rut. And what are the kind of tactics that you use, or what are let's give the audience some ideas of what they can do if they're listening right now. Yeah. They're in a rough spot, and they're overweight or out of shape, and they just don't know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah. The fastest place is friggin' move your body. Again, I've followed Tony Robbins. He's kind of the one that got me into this whole personal development world, which I didn't even know about until I was, probably 30 years old. And, he talks about, you change what you focus on, you can change what things mean to you, and all that works. And I'm a huge believer, I do affirmations and all that. But if you feel, if you're in a dark place, you feel like shit, you feel like there's no hope, and you start trying to commit, I'm happy. Like, that's hard. But if you just go out and friggin' move your body, then it changes your physiology, and you start to feel better immediately. So I'm a huge believer in the physical, starting with the physical, So
take action.
Take action. And for me, lifting, any kind of movement is great. Even just you sitting up. Like, I just sat up straight, my shoulders back. I feel different than when I was sitting like this. But for me, like lifting weights, especially as a man, I feel like, again, in the best kind of exercise is whatever you're going to do, right? Consistently. But there's something about lifting weights, you know, as a man, just being able to throw some iron around, or I guess it's mostly rubber nowadays, but, you know, throwing weights around, and it just, man, I get my best ideas for business when I'm working out. I'm just motivated, you know, I go in and storm to the rest of my day. So that's the first thing. And then there are different, you know, mental strategies and techniques. The other thing is I listen to people, you know, I you know, tell me your story, right? How'd you get here? You know, and well, where do you want to go from here?
Right.
You know? Do you really believe you can do it? You know, and a lot of times they can't. And then it's my job to instill, I can't do it for them, but to instill that belief. Look, you can do it. And
so you kind of paint the picture for them, right? You kind of paint a picture of, like, listen to them, and then whatever their goal is at that moment, kind of visualize with them and paint the picture for them for where they could be, so they could start building toward. But and maybe do you guys like work on like just adding one thing at a time and just building upon little tiny wins until their confidence comes up?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a huge believer in big wins. One thing I think it's important to say though is when I first got into this, I was like, I want to help everybody. I love people, you know, I want to do it for free, which I quickly learned, you know, that doesn't work, because then I don't have any food to eat or places to live. You know, you should get rewarded for the value you bring, but also I can't help everybody, you know, because I want to help people, but if they're not, and this has been a change for me recently, is I really want to make sure I look, here's what we can do. Here's how we can do it. But look, you know, Mike, like it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be overnight. Like I will guide you step by step, but you have to really do the work. Like, is that something you're really ready to do? Because if you are, let's go, brother. And here's where you can go. But if you're not, we're wasting, you know, your time and my time and your money. And, you know, that's been a challenge for me, because I see potential in other people. You know, I'm an optimist, but you know, you can't do it for them.
Yeah. And what's the 3 ways your mindset could be sabotaging your progress towards the transformation you've been searching for? You mentioned something about that before, but
yeah. So when I do my, you know, signature talk, which obviously you're familiar with, I talk about, and again, it depends on how deep you want to go, we can go more, but the workouts, which again, I think I've already mentioned, big believer in lifting weights. And the reason is not only it gives you the only thing that's going to give you the muscle, the strength, you know, the posture as you get older, but also every pound of lean muscle you build burns an extra 10 to 40. This is like, if anybody's looking for a secret, burns an extra 10 to 40 calories a day. And so you put on, you know, my average male client puts on, you know, 15 to 20 pounds of muscle in the first year, which may sound like a lot. That's not big and bulky, spread out. It's nice, lean. So you're adding you're burning an extra 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 calories every day. That's the secret to getting lean and staying lean. Number 2, I talk about nutrition, and I talk about the difference in eating healthy versus eating to look good, and how I mirror the two, you know, together, and have a plan that actually that will work, make you look good, you know, make you healthy, but it's something you can friggin' follow for the rest of your life versus, you know, a quick fix fad diet. Number 3, I talk about the mindset. They're all important, you know, but with the wrong mindset, you know, you're never going to have success. So, you know, our programming, I mean, you know, this, your subconscious mind controls, you know, whatever 90% of, you know, your activity. You're not conscious of it, but it's controlling what we do. And a lot of that, you know, programming comes from when we're, you know, ages 2 to 7, you know, 2 to 8. And, you know, our teachers, parents did the best they could, but, you know, they put a lot of stuff, again, I got chubby kid still living in there, right? Husky kid.
You got to keep beating him down, man.
He rears his head sometimes. I mean, I'll devour a full pizza and a tub of ice cream, which nobody ever needs to do. But I've learned to control that. So you see it in The Biggest Loser, right? So they, you know, so many of those people lose massive amounts of weights, but almost all of them gain the weight back.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, my belief is they don't have the accountability anymore. And number 2, they never changed who they believe they are. You know, if they believe that they're a fat, out of shape person, they don't deserve to be a fit person, then they're going to, you know, unconsciously or subconsciously sabotage themselves back.
Yeah. I think accountability is a huge part of it, man, because if I need to do something, like I have an event coming up or trip coming up, or if I'm going to be on TV more as far as podcasts, videos, that kind of thing, I watch it more. So that's that's the accountability. But if I don't have anything going on, it's so easy to fall back into that. And you cannot outwork a bad diet, man. You just can't do it. It's impossible. You can't work hard enough.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. And the other thing with the working out and lifting weights, a lot of people don't believe in lifting weights. A lot of people do spin and all that. And it's all a matter of what you want to look like, right? I haven't seen a lot of spin guys. And if that's your thing, that's great. But I haven't seen a lot of spin guys that don't look like a just really skinny Lance Armstrong like type view. And if that's what you want, you got to do that. But if you want, I like the pump.
Yeah.
Like Arnold said, right? That pump.
Yeah.
Like I like being in the gym, and when you lift and you do time under tension, at some point, man, that the blood flows to your muscles and you just feel good, man. You feel like an animal. And I love that feeling. I crave that feeling. I don't know about everybody else, but that's my favorite thing is just like getting in there and making. Now, again, I like to make sure that I do things the right way so I don't hurt myself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can do that and, do things the wrong way, and then you end up putting yourself out for a couple of weeks. But just really going after it, intensity, intentional, like just it's there's nothing like it, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you get it. And I would argue though, even if like, spin's your thing or yoga, that's awesome. But I would argue everybody should be doing some kind of strength training at least twice a week. And twice a week is enough. You're not going to maybe build a tremendous amount of muscle, but in order to just, again, for the reason that if you're, we're such an overweight nation, for the reason I just talked about, increasing your metabolism by having that muscle if you want to keep that fat off. Number one, number two is nothing is, bone density, osteoporosis, osteopenia, more so in ladies, but I mean, guys, as we're on video, right?
Yeah. As
we get, we start like this, and that's our progression, right? If you're not, our bones, shrink. So, lifting weights, it's not a, does it? Maybe it's been proven scientifically over and over that it's the best thing you can do for your bone strength, your core strength, getting up and down stairs, doing everyday functional things. And then, lastly, they've shown that the heart health, benefits of lifting weights, cardiovascular, keeping your blood, your fats in your blood down and everything is benefited. So, and if you work hard enough, you're getting cardio. I mean, I did an experiment. I always use myself as a human guinea pig. I did an experiment last year where I did no cardio I like, staying pretty lean. I did no cardio for the first 4 months of 2019, which was hard for me because I've always done a lot of cardio. And again, I'm working with two trainers right now. I am a trainer. I work with two personal trainers right now because they can see things I can't, and they can push me to another level. And he said, dude, let's just try this. He increased my calories about 500, 600 calories, and I did no cardio. So I got really strong. I went through a transition period. I got a little softer, but then I actually started leaning out. It's crazy. And so now I'm eating, I used to eat like 2,400 calories, 2,200 as a 6'6", 220-pound man, doing lots of cardio. I stayed lean, but, I was honestly tired, too tired, and I'm more tired than I should have been and stuff. And now I'm eating 3,000, 3,500 calories. I'm, definitely stronger. I feel way better, and I'm as lean or leaner than I was before.
Yeah, now when you say that, lifting weights, like just taking less breaks in between, right? A higher pace.
Yeah.
Right? And getting that heart pumping. Cardio is just you're getting your heart pumping, right? That's the main thing people don't understand. And so if you just lift weights and you take long breaks, your heart's not going to get a lot of work.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to get your wind worked up, and in shape. But I've been to the gym, and I have a trainer here locally, and he goes at such a high pace that I feel like I'm going to die sometimes, and I'm in pretty damn good shape. But I really feel like, because I'll go, if he tells me to go, I go. I don't think, right? And so very little break, rest when you're lifting weights is what you're talking about, how you can get cardio, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, people think of cardio, I got to walk on a treadmill or a bike, but you're right. You're lifting weights and your heart's boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's freaking cardio. And, that's, you've got slow and steady cardio that, lifts your heart rate a little bit. And technically it depends on which study you look at, but most of the studies, technically, if you do a slower, more steady, long cardio, you burn a higher percentage of fat calories versus carbohydrate or glucose calories. High intensity cardio, where you're doing like what we're talking about, you're busting it for maybe 20, 30 minutes, but your heart rate's way up, burns more carbs, sugar calories than fat on a percentage basis. But because you're working so much harder, let's say you do the long 1 hour walk, you burn 500 calories, 80% of it is fat. You do the 30 minutes of busting your ass and you burn 1,000 calories. and I'm just making up the calories, but
right.
you're going to burn more calories, even though the percentage is high fat. You're burning more overall calories, and when you do that high intensity, you get the afterburn effect. Up to 24 hours, especially if you're lifting weights, your body's burning at a higher level.
Yeah, so you could lift weights if you wanted to, right, for like 30 minutes, and then get on the treadmill and bump up the degrees, the incline, and walk it like 3 some miles an hour or whatever, right, and then walk afterwards.
Yeah, or just skip the walking and do the like you're doing, do the weights with no rest, and you get it all done at the same time.
Yeah, but that steady state sometimes I like to do, right? And then nice lower pace where my heart's not blowing up.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack sometimes with those short breaks.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, this is like, look, I know what I'm doing. Look, so I got a little bit of cut.
I know, man. I've seen you, dude. You're a beast.
So, hey, Russ, so listen, how can my audience get engaged with you, and what do you have to offer them?
Yeah, so before I do that, can I give you 3 compliments since I'm on your show?
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it. I'll take compliments all day.
Yeah, so the first thing, man, is just seeing what you're doing with your show. I mean, you're, again, just being inspired. You're out there. You're friggin' everywhere, dude, and you're on a mission. And being around people like you, inspires me. Number 2 is if I had the opportunity to speak on Grant Cardone's 10X stage, dream come true. I'd never been on a stage like that in my life. And I'm walking out. I got to pick my music, which was cool. And I saw some familiar faces, and you reached over and like just huge smile, man, gave me a fist bump, and right before I went on, and that gave me like a lot of inspiration, dude, to get up there. And it was genuine. And then number 3, just to kind of, you may not even think about this, but a small thing you mentioned when we met before the 10X stages, we all went to dinner and met you and your beautiful wife, and you guys were really cool. But we had this nice dinner, right, steak and let's have some wine, and you took over, and you knew a little bit about wine, I guess, and you ordered the wine and you paid for the wine. I noticed that, and just making a great experience for people. So just really
Thank you, man.
that. Oh, I got one more. I'm gonna give you 4 because a lot of people are like, dude, you're such a good speaker. You should be a motivational speaker. And when I heard about Tony Robbins, like a lot of us, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. But then I kind of got into that world, and I realized there's a lot of broke motivational speakers. And so I realized I don't want to give up that dream. I love being on stage and inspiring people, but I want to be the guy on stage because I have a successful business and a successful life that I can share with others. Not that I'm on stage because I'm a good speaker. It's not really living this stuff. So that's what the compliment I want to give to you is you're, out there doing your movement and you're awesome on camera and speaker, but you already have a great successful mortgage business. So
yeah, thank you, man. Look, first of all, when you're coming out and you won 10X stages, I was so happy and proud of you, man. And I just like lifting people up and seeing the hard work that goes into things. I know how hard it is. And the fact that you did that. And then I envision myself walking out in a crowd like that. And like, what would I want people to be doing? What would I want people? And that's the way I handle things all the time. Like, I want to lift him up, dude. I want to give him a little bit of like some kind of like energy that he could take up there with him. And so that's the way I just viewed that. And I'm glad that you felt that, man. And the other thing is, I really want to be people's hero, man. That's what it's all about, right? I want people to feel like my heroes made me feel like. And so when there's one thing to look at when you get a hero or somebody like a mentor, some kind of coach or whatever that does something for you, and you feel like that great feeling inside and accomplishment, they help you, whatever they do for you. Instead of just keeping that to yourself, how can I replicate that for other people? And that's what I always think, man. How can I replicate that? So, I'm glad you felt that way. I really appreciate that feedback, man. And it means a lot to me. And, any way I can make people feel good without worrying about what people think. It's not about like, there's a fine line there, worrying about what people think and trying to impress people.
Yep.
It's more about really trying to make them feel good, man.
Yeah.
And, I really appreciate that, man. So
definitely. And you can tell it's just genuine, and some of the other guys, Jared and Magda, and it was awesome. So, yeah, brother, I appreciate you.
Yeah. So how can my audience get in touch with you and support you and engage you?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm going to give 2 options. I know that goes against the principle of
you can
stage.
Give 5. You can give 6.
Yeah, where you're supposed to only do one thing, right? But the people are in different places. So I've got a 30-day jumpstart program. It's free. It's ultimate30daytransformation.com. 100% free, you know, jumpstart program, training, nutrition, mindset, motivation. You have access to me, the whole deal. And again, I want to be transparent. 30 days is not enough for most people to, you know, get in the shape they need to be in, but getting started is one thing. And again, if you haven't done anything in a long time, 30 days is enough time to see physical results, significant physical results, but also to change your mindset and get that momentum going. And then some people are like, you know what, I just need, dude, like, there's probably gonna be a few of your audience listeners, like, I need the whole transformation. I wanna work with you. I created a page, specific page for 10X Nation. So it's just russyeager.com. I'll spell it because it's kind of hard. RUSSYEAGER.com/10X. And there's some information on my platinum and titanium coaching. You know, somebody, you know, really wants to get in there and have a conversation about how I can, you know, really help them in all areas.
Awesome. All right, audience, go support my man, Russ. Great guy, means well, wants to see you succeed in anything that you do. Russ, thank you so much for being on the show today, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Had an amazing time.
Appreciate you. You guys have been listening to the What Are You Made Of podcast. Please go support Russ and also support our sponsor, Nations Lending. Home Loans Made Human. Great company, great people that work there, and they want to take care of you. So thank you for listening. Please go subscribe to the What Are You Made Of podcast on iTunes or Spotify or your favorite platform for podcasts. Also, please give me a rating. I would love to see some 5-star ratings and also comments and feedback. Guys, I can't do continue to improve without your feedback, so I really appreciate that. And if you want to watch these, you can go to YouTube, and my YouTube channel is Mike C-Roc Ciorrocco. You can watch the video of them. Some people like to do that as well. So I'm here to help you guys, support you guys, do anything I can. Please give me that feedback. And check out the Waymo crew. Message me if you're interested in that coaching group. We meet once a week in the evening time on Zoom calls and have some fun and make some connections. So until next time, it's your boy C-Roc. I'll see you next time.